circle, it just looks like this.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do at that point. I'm just like, go toward me, but I don't want to. I don't want. I don't want to be intimidated.
No, so your body's gonna draw and then it's gonna drive. So your body's doing everything. So like when you were inviting him in and then you stood up tall, that said that's far enough.
But not going. I don't need to go toward me like.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it has to be more of a standing up. So that way, please, as opposed like you're gonna crouch. If you're gonna crouch, also you don't want to do that because crouching can still be misunderstood as a draw. You know, he would just be like, oh, you put your hands out in the draw. Where if you draw, yes. Yes, absolutely, always, always. Because right now it wouldn't be fair to say, now get out there on the circle, horse. Yep, good. Correct that now. Yep, okay. So let me, go ahead and stop him. Go ahead and stop. Oop, oop. And just, ooh. Go ahead and stop him because I wanna talk to you about one thing real quick. Okay. He's misreading your direction. And probably because, like you said, it's hard in your left hand, so you probably do a lot of right hand. Okay? But he's anticipating it. Instead of letting him get kind of lost, because he spins out mentally, right, in that little space there. Instead of letting him get lost, throw a wiggle in the rope to say, you didn't hear me. Wait, you didn't hear me. So my wiggles mean so many things, but that wiggle would be like, wait, you didn't hear me. You know, in this case, we want him to come, this way. So he's thinking that way. So he'd be like, wait.
That's because that's what I've been doing with him.
Right. So he's guessing. So now we need him, but what we want to do is we want to teach him that we are present, we are going to have instructions, and he needs to check in with you for those instructions, as opposed to, well, I don't know, I guess I'm going to go this way, because this is what we usually do, right? We want him to actually look for instructions.
Okay. So instead of like keeping him going.
Yeah, don't allow him to, like, as soon, okay, you just told him to go this way and he went this way. Stop him now.
Okay.
As opposed to,
okay.
Right, because there was a lot of rope and stuff involved and he got offended. So instead of offending him, just say, you must not have heard me.
Okay.
And then quickly take posture of, I'd like you to go this way.
All right.
Back up straight is true. Yep, back. So don't quit the back up until you get a true step. There you go. Guessing. Nope. So see how much he told you? He told you at least half of a circle. He's telling you right now. He's telling you right now. There you go. So you got a little bit of a pattern there. So I would actually change where I do my change of direction to where it's facing, like, say, that corner instead of on that rail, because he's anticipating it early and he's telling you we're going to do it. Okay, good. It's okay. Let him be. That's just overreaction, but it's okay. When you want him to yield, see if he can ask you nicely for that yield. So there it was a nice ask. There's a nice ask. There. Yep. Make sure he backs up, though. He's being allowed to come in a little too close to where potentially if teeth came out, he could get you. Good boy. Now, I have found he prefers his neck rubbed over his forehead. Instead of his forehead. He'll maintain his ears forward if you rub his neck. You put this in his back as soon as you touch his forehead. Yeah. So that was a beautiful turn. It was done with kind of a overachiever attitude.
But he goes into that, that fast trot. And it's like, you don't have
on what just happened, what would your next goal be? I do what I call pop quizzes. Like pop quiz.
My goal would be to get that very fluid and for him to maintain his composure. You know what I mean? Maintain his speed throughout that entire thing.
Yep.
So it looks very fluid. So we come in, we turn, and we just continue on like
Yep. Maintain gait. So
yes.
where he could just come and go, oh, you want me to change direction?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And none of the dramatics.
Right. To have it look more like just a fluid motion.
Yep. So my goal would be, like, if I was to come out here and say, my goal would be is to eliminate.
Yeah.
I'd want to eliminate that. So
Right.
I would want him to say,
Exactly.
oh, I don't have to do that.
Right.
You almost want to see that drop of the shoulder where he's like, I mean,
'Cause
I don't even have to
know
do
what
that.
to do.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
he knows what to do.
Well,
But I
he's
will
learning.
say this.
He's learning. Because he did not understand lunging.
But I will say this, in all fairness to him, I think I'm being over dramatic with it as well. I don't think my movements are, I mean, they're fluid, but not.
No, because honestly, you followed his lead. He was telling you, we're going to do this now. And you said, oh, yeah, okay. Here, let me catch up to you. So he actually initiated the turn. You just kind of caught up to him. So that's why you were, if anything, exaggerated. Because you were kind of spinning your wheels a little bit to get caught up. So what we want to make sure is that if he's asking here, wait until he gets there when he stopped asking. So now he's ready to do it anywhere. Okay? So, and he kept asking right there. So that's why I didn't want you to do it where we've been doing it, because he was trying to get it there. So that's why I said wait till you're over here. So I don't let them assume. And I always try to mess them up if they start to assume. So that way they go, oh, okay, I better not assume.
Right.
Okay? So you can choose anywhere now. And where I would choose, if his pattern, he's got a pretty nasty pattern right here. If his pattern is to look at, kind of take a complacency, like, all right, this isn't so bad. That's when I would very gently go. Your energy has to be really gentle. It can't be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this turn. It has to be.
That's what I don't want to happen.
When he's like, all right, this is cool. That's when you want to go, hey, how about we change direction?
Okay.
And so that way you can give him that vibration of it's soft,
Right.
you know, because if you react, it's not soft, and if you try to get ahead of something or you try to make it happen, it's not soft either. For him, the softer we can be, but prepared to correct any naughtiness, but the softer we can be, the better deal we're going to be offering him.
And I did notice too that I don't have to pull the rope.
No.
He does the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because everything I do is with the goal of it all being at liberty.
Right.
I don't want them to rely on me to hold their hand and go, here, let me take you this way, and I'm going to take you that way.
No.
I don't want any part of that. I want to just suggest, hey, but if I need, this is my support.
Yeah.
I consider that support. I'm going to offer you the best deal. You can do it on your own, but if not, oh yeah, by the way, I do have a way to just make sure you heard me. Okay, give that another try. Now be careful how often he gets to come in the circle before he goes out on the circle. I call those drive-bys. We don't want him bringing his shoulder into the center of the circle with you. He should turn and go out on the circle. So there, like I would put a little energy at the front of his rib cage when he brings his ribs into you like that. Right there, I'd put an energy with just like push the rope kind of at his ribs to say out and say out at the same time, so that way he knows that the energy is being pushed at him. There you go. Yep. It's okay. He misinterpreted it as driving energy. It's okay. Good. It's okay. Yep. Bump him, and then send. Yep. And as fast as you can take down your energy, the better it is for him. But you want to get ahead of that. It's okay. Okay, that's okay. So he almost ran into the energy. Okay. There you go. So you're going to get to see in the video where your energy might be a little bit more when he's asking questions as opposed to being corrected. You don't want to be corrected when he's just asking a question. There you go. Good. Hind yield him now. Just hind yield him. Good. Up. Little back. It's a shame that he had to ruin it, but oh, good boy. Back. You go to him. Good. So if I can borrow him for a second, I just want to fix something that he kind of got himself doing. I don't want to do it again. So what's happening is he's getting confused about what you're about to ask, and he's trying to make assumptions.
I know.
And there's too long of a delay between no, that's not what I said, and actually correcting. So we want him to not get quite, we don't want him to run into the end of the rope unnecessarily. So I'm going to ask him to back up. So see, I didn't let him make that mistake for long. So I want to fix that too. See how he got in the habit of bringing his shoulder into the circle? He needs to turn his shoulder, he needs to turn his shoulder away. So his shoulder should go. So he got in the habit of coming in. So I want his shoulder to go in. Once his shoulder goes away, I let him off the hook, right? So I'm not making him go on the circle. I want him to understand I'm talking through his shoulder. So his shoulder needs to go out, like that. Okay? His shoulder, he can't walk into you.
So he basically
He comes in.
Step out for it, not in.
Yeah, so he needs to stay there and then go out on the circle. None of that. Nope. Good. Perfect. Good. And I'm going to reward him for that because that's exactly what I want him to do. He did it by mistake. That's exactly what I wanted him to do, so I want him to soak on it. So, did you see a very deliberate step away?
Yes.
He doesn't have to lick and chew. He just needs to have a minute for that. There.
I saw the deliberate step.
Yep. He didn't have to cross over and go away from me. He had to take a step out and away. I didn't say change direction, so I won't tell you to change direction until you come look behind it. Okay? Not forward. Nope. Yep. So that's the only thing I'm working on. Okay? So, like I said, you gotta fix what gets broken. And that was something that was kind of just broken because he didn't know. But it was getting worse with time. It was starting to just come into you. Yeah, so I call those drive-bys, and they're not always with good intentions. So I correct them even if they were accidental. And I use the word correct, and I shouldn't because people think correction is aggressive. And I just mean I fix miscommunication. So I kind of mean like that one. He cheated me. I went half too close. Nope. Yes. Right. Good job. better idea of what I want now? Yes, yes, yes. So I'm still fixing that field thing. Not enough. That's pretty good, but no. Nope. Yes. So I just interrupted. That's all.
He knows when he's going to has a breakout.
Yes. There you go. Almost without a phase. Almost without a phase. There.
Almost without a phase.
Yep, yep. Good job.
He thinks about it.
Yes.
You can see it. You can
Because
see the wheels
you
turning.
see how every time he did get it, I let him just kind of be. So that gives him a chance to think about it. Okay, wait a minute. There was a cue. I did something, and then she just left me alone. So I must have done something right. It makes them start to think to what they must have done. So I'm waiting for him to ask nicely because he's not asking nicely, and that was not nice. Try again. A little better than that. Now I'm going to wait for him to ask nicely. As soon as he asks aggressively, I'm going to forget about that. I don't. I'm telling you something else. Like, it's not a big deal. Nope. Nope. I'm not. I'm telling you the wrong. That's think, 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 think. Oh, think, think. Think it through. Oh, think it through. There you go. You almost got it. Think it through. There you go. Almost had it. Almost had it. So what were you thinking? Because I wanted to reward him for getting it right. Because it took a long time for him to get it right. If I had just let him walk and stay walking, all that would have done was made him think that he's still doing this certain thing. But by releasing him when he got the part that I was trying to work on right, now he can think about it. Yep. So when he starts to get it wrong, tap the brakes right away instead of like letting him get from that barrel to that barrel with that big of a mistake. You know, the more he's allowed to make a mistake, the bigger the correction needs to be, and then the more offended he's going to get. But if you just said, "Oh, wait," you know, because a lot of times wait would be, you know, I always tell my horses, wait, listen. You know, you'll hear me tell my horses to listen all the time. Listen. Especially when my horses are back. I say listen a lot. I'm telling you, come on. Yep, correct. See how much he got to do? See, don't quit him. See, he got to go. Good. Yep, now raise your hand and support your shoulder. That's good. We'll give him that one. Now, the trick is to put your hands kind of more relaxed. Your hands look like they're going to do something. Good. You shouldn't be telling him anything right now other than, boy, you're pretty. The more active your hands are, the more they get kind of bothered by the nagging.
Am I just yielding?
So, when you're ready, you can change direction. Yep. Okay, we'll be able to fix that shoulder coming at you in that. Now, asking for the walk. Good, there we go. Right across there, he's polite. That's where I would yield him. Not to do it this time, but okay, that's okay though. Yep. So when you're choosing your yield position, oh boy. So like he has this is like attitude zone. Okay, so you don't want to do too much positive stuff here until you can tell him that you're in it for the niceness. Where like Jip in a fight there, there's no reason to fight there. So as he's coming around here, like when it hits about here, one ear goes forward. Even if it's something over there that's got his attention, it doesn't matter. One ear stays on you, but one ear goes forward. He disconnected from whatever negativity he was experiencing.
Okay.
So that's when you want to say as politely as you can. Then that's when you have to really like refine your energy to a very polite, nice ask. Very politely ask him to yield and see if you can't get a. He's gonna have a tiny bit of an attitude still because we've got to fix it, but he's gonna probably would spin only the one step and not do the extra protect step. Okay? But don't yield him in places that he's like here he asks you kind of he gives you kind of this tucked look. And then he has accepted the fact that he hasn't been told to stop, so he's not asking the way he was. Before he was asking kind of an aggressive way. Now he's kind of accepted, all right, no, you didn't say anything, so I'm gonna keep going. Then it gets a little bit more nasty. And then like I said, right about there is when it changes. You have till that post. That's really your only window. But kind of assume it's like when somebody's trying to give you directions and you only willing to crack the window a little bit. Like you got to be able to talk in that little crack. Okay. As soon as he cracks that window, you want to be able to be like, hey.
Okay.
And then don't bounce off the walls overjoyed. Just go love on him. You know. If you bounce off the walls overjoyed, he's gonna see that is.
When I change direction, could it be that I'm not pushing that forward energy enough, and that's why the shoulders coming in?
I do see it as a habit he has with you. And right now, while he's learning it, but it would be the same thing as when you got on the surface of grass. And he has a little bit of that coming in your space thing,
Yeah.
you know.
He always has. He's gotten, believe me, he's gotten much better years than over the past year that
Good.
we've been here. Because I just don't want him in my space.
Right. Well,
You
and
know,
there's
he's the type that he just wants to, even when he's walking, he just wants to be on top of me.
mhm.
It's like, I want him, it's nice when your horse wants to be with you, but not on top of you, because too many things can get terrible off.
Yeah. Well, and I always tell people when you watch the cows jumping to the middle of the herd, it's not because they can't wait to be with the guy in the middle. They're hoping the guys on the outside get to be first.
Right.
So
Yeah.
truthfully, it's not as affectionate as you think. It's survival, and I hope you get eaten first. Okay. So it's not as sweet as it comes across.
Guess what? The chances of that are slim to none. No, I would
And so, like on the day where we're really drilling circle stuff, even though he's being educated, it was better. Yeah, he was already kind of facing that way, so it worked out for him. So, like like I was saying, is on a day like today when you're really kind of drilling education on a circle and it's boring and monotonous, that's when you would, before you end, you take him over the mounting block and let him be a star. Yep, yep, okay. Good. And then watch for his pattern. And here's where he's the least. That's right there's where I would. And be ready to push him right back out of your space though. Because you were actually bent over and pretty vulnerable
Okay.
when he came around. He wasn't very far from your face and you were bent over. So you were
So
pretty
it's more like a lean.
it's more like
Okay,
a step out and around.
This crouching thing.
Yeah. No, that's very predatorial and it could be it could be part of the
Right.
problem. No, it's just more of an out and around, like a request for the skill. And then you want to be standing right back up as soon as you understood standing right back up.
Okay.
When he comes in and he's that close to you and you're bent over, I don't want to see him decide that, let's take this up a notch.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Yep. No, keep no, back. So see that's where that's where like he's pulled out and the star's coming. You want to make sure that you don't let him make a mistake that long. So my goal, if I was working with him, would be to see if I can get to change direction out the trot. But the fact that he breaks back down to the walk means that he kind of understands that that trot's not necessary. So I want you to be much more prepared for what we know is going to happen. So you know he's going to go. Okay? See how many times I hit him with the snap when I was interrupting it, so that way he didn't have a chance to get that close to me.
Right.
You want to be like, hey, well, yeah? Okay? So that way he doesn't get to do all that. And you're not able to just and he's kind of past thinking we're going to smack his butter. while, see if he can learn really what his don'ts are, because he doesn't like his forehead rub. So as soon as he touches his forehead, his ears go back. So, you kind of make, I always make my horses promises. I had a horse I never combed his forelock. Because I promised him I wouldn't do that, since he didn't like it that much. I've got one that doesn't like his tail brush, unless I have to. I don't brush his tail. Because, if I don't have to, why would I, especially if you're trying to do it as a kind gesture or rewarding gesture. It's like me poking you in the eye to tell you you did a good job.
Good job. You were a brave boy. I know. You scared of that? All right, let's try this. Back.
That was a nice departure. It wasn't as much as I go out on the circle, but it didn't come in. Got a much nicer face all the way around. Try to look a little less concentrated. Good. Yes, very nice. So if I was looking like, hopefully we have a nice deal. If I was looking for one to quit on, that would be it. Because I don't think you're going to get perfected today. Yield. Good. So that's the only thing that I would say. Ask yourself how much delay is there before, like, you kind of yielded him but didn't yield him, and then there was like a little gray going on. So like he didn't follow through.
I'm anticipating crafty about it. I don't want him to be crafty about it. I'm trying so hard to be like.
Well, you're gonna have to correct what he's developed as a aggressive behavior. You're gonna have to correct that, and by doing that, you're gonna continue to make the promise that there's no reason. Okay, but you're gonna still have to say stop slamming the door.
Now, what hunting, you always start to go counterclockwise first, and then you went clockwise. You want to stay in that same habit?
While we're working on something specific, yes, I never change directions or speed when I'm working on something specific, because different horse, different eye, different horse. So if I suddenly started going the other way, now I'm working with a totally different horse, and I'm having to teach it all over again. So until you've mastered the one direction, I mean, you can then, like, she could work right here on this specifically concentrated thing, take him over there and lunge the heck out of him the other way, and it's a different thing. Okay? If it's a matter of balancing his body or muscle tone or anything like, I'm over bending him in one direction, you can go over there and do something totally different over there, but don't incorporate that into your lesson. Okay? Until he's mastered it in this direction, and then you want to reteach. You have to always think, when I get on the other side of the horse, I have to teach it again. Because sometimes you'll think, they'll just transfer the information. They don't.
So with the change of direction, we're going to have to teach you where to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're going to have to teach it on the rail, all the same.
Should I work on that this week, or just keep working on this?
I would see if I can't get him to change direction, stay out on the circle, change direction out on the circle, and walk.
He did much better this last time.
Yes. Oh yeah. No. This is.
Try.
Yeah. This is when you want to quit on that. You don't. I mean, his yield was not good, but that's a bigger issue anyway. But I would definitely quit on that change of direction. Because he started to figure out. It's like, I don't really have. He seems to have a little bit of that. If I could be lazy, I'd like to be lazy personality. So when he figures out that he doesn't have to go running off, he's like, I'd rather walk off anyway.
Right.
Then gradually he's going to start to just be like, all right, I'll wait until I'm told.
This is what she wants.
Yep.
There's no repercussions, when he does do it right,
Well, and that's the important part, is that you're always neutral. You're always just warm water when he's doing something right. Okay, like it's a hotter, colder kind of stuff, And then when he's not doing it right, your energy, you're alive, you're whatever. As soon as he does it right, you're neutral again. So he can figure it out. If he can't figure got it right, and you're like, oh, you did so good. Oh, you're never gonna get it if your energy can't be black and white. Good boy. That's where all the bugs. She wanted to use the grass. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Stop staring at me, lady.
This was great. I feel like we accomplished so much tonight. Look, look at him. He's looking at the mounting block.
Look at what this is.
And if you felt like you were really like drilling him and you really were kind of like needing a place to quit and you couldn't find a real good place to quit doing the circle, then come over and end on a good note at the mounting block and then quit for the day on that.
Okay.
You know, try to end on the best one you can, but you can always just make it better by ending on a good note at something he is good at.
Something that just makes both of us feel good about the whole thing.
Right, and then both of you can go home and soak.